Oh, this whole time I thought the chat was like trolling, like, oh, he's not showing up to his thing, and I just started to see something like, oh, why isn't he here yet? And it's like, oh, I've been streaming this whole time, and you just haven't known. It's been a good stream too. You've been missing out on the good stuff. Also, oh, the stream is not working correctly. Oh, that's a weird start to a live stream. Hello, I'm ibxtoycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. Today, I'm going to be continuing on my mega Minecraft project. Oh, it's very laggy though, right? Am I crazy? Or is it laggy? I feel like it's laggy. Hello, I'm ibxtoycat, and I sometimes understand how to live stream. This is not one of those days. But yeah, speaking of days, so what am I doing? Is it having constant issues for everyone else? It's like, it's continuously complaining to me that, like, there are big problems here. Please fix the big problems. Maybe it's just me, though. Could be wrong. Could be very much mistaken on that matter. Anyway, so, hello, I'm ibxtoycat, and this is my third time saying that, because I am streaming Minecraft with an ocean, and with all of this. It's good. And I'm going to be expanding the drained ocean today. It's going to be a lot of fun, I hope. There's this funny thing about, like, getting flushed or floundered or whatever. I don't actually know what the word is. In my head, it's floundered, but I know that's incorrect. It's like, I was having a really good stream, and then I realized, oh, I'm not actually streaming. Yeah, I wasn't actually live. I thought I was having a good time streaming, but it was actually a lie. And in that time, it was like totally fine, right? And then the moment I realized I am streaming, I'm like, oh, there's this issue that's popped up. I'm not actually live. The moment I turn live, for some reason, lag appears out of nowhere. It's like, oh, this is terrible. Flustered, that's the word, thank you. Lex explains. I don't know how I don't know the word flustered. But yeah, it's funny. I was was about to start the live stream. And, there's this funny thing where if someone consistently shows up at a different time to the expected one, that becomes the new expected time. If you have a friend who's always half an hour late, you don't expect him at the time you invite him there. You expect him half an hour after that. If you, if you board a plane, if you've ever been in an airport, you'll know that you can't actually just, if your flight's at 8 PM, you can't get there at 7:55, 5 minutes early and get on the plane. You have to be there, half an hour early if it's, if it's an international flight. And if you're luckily flying inside the United States, where planes are like buses, then you should still be there 10 minutes early. And it's like, huh. So, really when a flight says you have to be on board by 8, so you have to, like, it leaves at 8, it's like, well, we try to leave at 7:50. We just don't end up doing so till 8. And, so yeah, that's fascinating in my opinion. You know what else is fascinating, though? By the way, thank you, McBella. I saw the tip as I was preparing the live stream at the very beginning. So, by the way, this music is so intensely loud in my ears. I expected you at 4:20, some of us probably started without you. Also, I come from a long line of chronically late people. I have no shame. You know what? There's a joke in here about, like, contractors and being late, right? I know that that's not precisely your field, but anyone who works with people on, like, home-related things, it's like a rule of thumb that you will just be there. Being there late is just the expected. Again, like, I had a builder just say, oh yeah, I'll be around at 10:30 on Friday, and it's like, I'll see you somewhere between 10:30 and 1, maybe. Also, I'm watching a stream instead of doing work at my job. Here's my Toycat tax. Have fun draining the ocean. I hope I don't get fired for watching you. I hope you don't get fired for watching me too, but you know what I hope more than that? I hope that I drain the, that's just saying I care more about me than you. Also, yeah, it's like, it's just this fact that if you're dealing with, I can't even work out why, but like, yeah, there is no consistent reason. But it's funny because, like plumbers, builders, electricians all have the exact same attitude to, all have this exact same attitude towards it that I have towards streams. And so I've concluded I am a plumber. This is a live stream. And am I not basically a plumber? Am I not dealing with your water-related issues? I mean, there was ocean here before, and now I have dealt with that. You are welcome. So yeah, we need to place dirt not only there and there, but also start to place it here. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. You don't even know how wonderful it's going to be. So, yeah, I'm going to drain an entire ocean Paddy plays, or an entire... defining where ocean ends and begins is actually a complex task that we're not going to bother with today. But for what it's worth, there is there is some complexity and some controversy to it. Also, yes, I'm a plumber. It's a widely known fact on the internet. So yeah, it's funny how many people thought I was running an ocean monument. I really should have, like, worked out a title that didn't lead to that confusion, because everyone's drained an ocean monument, you know? Like, that's just the done thing. It's what everyone does all of the time. In fact, you're weird if you haven't drained your ocean monument. But yeah, so I got something new for this live stream. Have you noticed it yet? Have you noticed how... It's actually a lot uglier, but it's a lot cooler, because now instead of having to fiddle around with the stream timer counter, blah, 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 every single time, I have a new stellar feature that if someone becomes a member, I can do it automatically. I just didn't work out how to change the color on that. Because, oh, the reason I tell that story is because I arrived at this live stream 15 minutes late, which was actually 5 minutes early for me. I was like, ooh, we got some free time. And I figured I'd use that free time to work out how to, like, automate the member counter so I'm not, like, fiddling around. I like having smooth, natural talks, and sometimes the flow of that is broken up just a little bit. And so, also, I need to work out the exact ending point I want to use right here. It's kind of messy right now, but you know what isn't messy? In the modern world, isn't everything a little bit messy? The answer is yes, by the way. The answer is yes. Okay, so that now goes... There we go, we're fine. And now we can remove this dirt, and then we can start sponging up. Oh, I need to leave the dirt there until I've sponged some more. Okay, no I don't. Yeah, if you want to become a wife of the lovely Toycat, as Cat Beanie puts it, you can do so at the link in the description, which I think is a great place. Now you need to work out maybe the font match too, or maybe I'm the only one who notices. Oh yeah, the font and the color, it's just very out of place right now, but I kind of like that it's out of place, you know? Like, if you like, having things be out of place is terrible if you're like a designer and you're trying to like blend in. But I'm deliberately going for out of place because it's the dynamic number, and I'm trying to be like, look, I did a new thing. Chat, be proud of me, I did a new thing. But yeah, so, you know, funny enough on that, like, being late story, I had an electrician coming around my house. This electrician, he said he'd be there at 9. And so I leave my house at, like, 8 to go get breakfast. Oh, the cool thing about living in a city, and it's going to be a while till this wears off of me. I just leave the house, and then I see where I end up, you know? And it's like, it's not like, I'm never not going to have breakfast options no matter which direction I walk. And no matter how far I walk. Like, you have to walk for hours and hours and hours to get out of the range of breakfast options. At least in central London. I'm sure there are parts on the periphery where that's not true. But, so yeah, it's really cool to me that just, like, yeah, anyway, so I ended up at breakfast. And I finished breakfast at, like, 9, and I was like, ooh, I think like, I got breakfast at, like, 8:55 or something. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be late to this. And I was like, he's probably late too. And so I bike home. It's a really long bike because my first bike doesn't work. I have to get a second bike because I rent bikes because I'm lazy. I guess that would be the opposite of lazy. Also, will you ever bring back geography for the blind, says Squirrel Watcher. Thank you. Oh, wait, sorry. Can finally watch a stream after work. Thank you, Maya and Smudgy. BRB on college work. I like to stream. Here is my Toycat tax. Thank you so much, Maya and Smudgy. Are you 2 people? Or is that like a, you know, like, which is fine. Everyone can have multiple alters. That is a respectable A-okay thing. Or is that like a brand channel? Like, oh yeah, we do comedy together. It's gotta be comedy. Anyway, also, will you bring back Geography for the Blind? That was a hilarious podcast name, don't get me wrong. Honestly, finding time to do long-form stuff in a week is, like, impossible for me to do. That's why I find streaming to be so hard to schedule around. Like, if I schedule in streaming into my week, my whole week just, like, blocks out. Because, you know, if it takes, like, an hour to do something, it takes, like, half an hour to an hour to mentally prepare, and then it takes a couple of hours for me to, like, get over. Not get over, but, like... You know, like, I'm introverted, so when I use my social energy on a stream, I'm like, I need some time to just be near no one for a bit. And so, yeah, why burden the blind with geography? I like the idea that until that podcast, blind people had no idea what geography was. What about Geography for the Deaf, except it's still a podcast? Okay, this is Geography for the Deaf, the podcast. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm confused by the wife concept, says Elio, Exo, Abigail. So in lots of regions of the world, and indeed in some religions, it's actually entirely permitted to have more than one wife. And so right now we have 322 wives. None of the legal benefits, sadly. The lawyers were very strict to crack down on that one. And you know, smart of them, I guess. There aren't any legal benefits to... Oh, I guess we should probably put some in there as well. Not any legal benefits to being married, sadly. However, you do get the same satisfaction that you would were you my wife. I don't know where that statement's going, but I like it, I guess. We're all wives, proud wives. Exactly. Some people would say, wait a minute, wouldn't I be a husband? And I'd say, nope. Wife is a gender-neutral term in this concept, in this context. Concept as well, I guess. Why not? And yeah, there we go. Is that all the questions? That's all the questions. An ocean monument themed desert temple in a drained ocean equals peak Toycat. That is a really good idea, by the way. Daniel A responding to Brian Smith. I think you've just worked out my next project for me. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same draining over here. There's a little bit of problem with getting the water to not do this, but that should be enough. And yeah, now we follow this along, placing our sponges, and then we eventually get our gravel back, which we use for the next row, and then so on and so forth, until magic happens. But yeah, no, it's a fun thing we call... I don't even know where that stuff comes from. It's, Harrison was working on this video a while back that was, like, all of the weird Toycat in-jokes and where they started. Like, I'm Welsh, for instance, or Toycat is yes. They all come from very far back places. I can never predict when one's gonna be an in-joke, even. Like, I guess that's how in-jokes work. You don't control the in-joke. The in-joke controls you. But it's still fascinating to me. But yeah, thank you, Brian Smith, for the idea. And also thank you, Dialected Dante. You're my wife now. Anyway, have you not finished yet? Oh yeah, I've concluded. Also, look at this. This is so strange. I concluded a long time ago, if this gets finished, it's one of those, like, forever projects. Or we have to, like, cut off a certain point and say that's when we're done. Which is what I'm probably going to do. Maya equals cute doggo, Smudge equals chubby cat, Toycat shocked. Oh, that is incredibly cute. You know, I like that more than my solutions if it's a joint channel, or it's a cat and it's a dog. And you know, if the cat and a dog can run a YouTube channel together, then don't you think we can cause peace in the Middle East, friends? I mean, if you think about it, you know, this is diving into something goes wrong territory. And so yeah, if you're not familiar with these live streams, or maybe if you are, you might not know about a concept we like to call the Wheel of Toycat. And so every time someone does become a member, sometimes known as a wife, we spin the wheel. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I try not to talk about it too much, because I know, like, for like half the world, liking cities is obvious, and for half the world, liking cities is the exact opposite of what they want to do. It's like, what's something where people are divided 50-50? Besides, like, gender. I was gonna go with gender of attraction, like, oh yeah, don't you guys think... Actually, no, actually, that's true. 50% of people roughly are attracted to women, roughly 50% to men. It's probably more like 51%, but we're gonna leave indecisive people out of this one for now. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because, you know, like, so half of you would be very confused and like, you know, aren't women the best? You know, get this right. Not only are they cute, but also they're empathetic. Don't you just wanna... And it's like, for half of you, you're like, yeah, actually, I do want to date women, you're right. How do you guess that? And half of you are like, actually, I prefer, I don't know, what's good about men? I prefer someone who can lift a heavy object from one room to another. Have you ever considered a second channel video about how each NYC borough is its own county? Yeah, you know, funny you say that, because, oh no! That was a waste of firework. It's funny you say that, because I've been waiting for a video to basically bring that up in. Because Manhattan is called New York, New York. Brooklyn is Kings County. Like, they've all got interesting names, too, which I find endlessly interesting. Also, have you drank your Respect Women juice today yet? You know, I hope everyone else has drunken their Respect Women juice. Bisexual hurts itself in confusion. Anyway, so, yeah, I don't want to dive too far into that right now. But my point is that I think so many of our preferences, we just kind of assume are everyone's preferences, because it's easy to get stuck on that. Like, you know, like, especially when you surround yourself with people with the same preferences, you're like, yeah, this is the default. I know stuff like, I don't know, I have like a anti-authoritarian bent. And so I'm genuinely confused. Every now and then I encounter someone like this in my life. Like a miserable, you know, old lady in in young person's form that's like, oh, I don't like the way, I don't know why they're American cowboys again. I don't like the people can ride their e-scooters on, why, they might hit someone. They should be outlawed. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is just someone who's like, you know, we always have these like moral panics that run alongside society. And you don't think people are actually into them. It's like happening somewhere else of someone's grandmother's that's like, you know, not getting enough from their granddads or whatever it is. You know, there's some like weird, you know, explanation for why that is, but it's like, oh no, there's just a healthy part of the population. And even though that's about 50% of people, you know, like, again, people split roughly 50-50 down authoritarian, anti-authoritarian lines, as well as down left-right political lines. So it's like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, it's hilarious to me that, like, people have this problem with their political biases, where, like, you genuinely might not understand why people vote for the person that you wouldn't vote for, because you don't surround yourself with people who disagree. At least, that's the common internet trend of the nowadays, like, let's not even understand each other. Let's just incomprehensibly yell at each other every 5 years, and then, you know, not talk about it the rest of the time. Or, let's talk about it very loudly and vocally and insist that now it's just as important. Or, you know, anyway, long story short, I'm not trying to dive into politics or anything like that, especially with Ronstar308's son Tommy being here. Say hi to Tommy for me. Wait, he can hear this. Hello, Tommy. Your name is fun. You know, any name that can be turned into a Y at the end, you know, it's like a fun name. A little bit of a curse name too, though, right? Like Tom, infinitely more professional than Tommy. But I guess that's the thing, like, you get to change your name as you age. Like, I feel like Andy is a fine name for a child, whereas I feel like Andrew is like, ooh, that's you know, that's like a proper professional adult name. You know, that's my take on things. I've got lots of bad takes, don't you worry. But yeah, that is actually my fourth. Like, you know, same with like Ben. Ben is or Benjamin. That's a lawyer. Benny, that's a 14-year-old going for an ice cream sundae. Do you ever go by Drew? I've never met anyone who goes by Drew. There's this one travel channel who's called Drew. Drew Gooden, I think is what it is. I could be getting that wrong. But I've never actually met a Drew in real life. Oh, and there was a Drew in the Rugrats, which I found to be endlessly fascinating. Andy to me is a middle-aged guy. Oh yeah, Andy the plumber could be a thing. You're right. That's interesting. I guess I'm tarnished by, there was this one TV show. I forget what it was called. Andy Pandy, I want to say. Could be getting that mixed up. But anyway, my point here is that, also, expose my middle school self, Christopher Drew. Also, I know a Drew Scottish fellow. Thank you so much, Bram, for becoming the 323rd channel member. Did you see the way that magically happened? Do you know what you get in exchange? You get to spin the wheel. I guess I spin the wheel. It's the wheel of Toycat. What's it gonna be? It could be any of these 14 options, including 2 jumping jacks. I hate this one the worst, just because it's like so awkward to move my chair out and in. But you know what? We do it for you. Wait, should I do it by the... Wait, okay, yeah, this is weird. Let's... Wait. Look at this. I'm gonna pat myself on the head again. I can do it. Okay, there we go. I'm patting myself on the head for my... Ugh. There we go. That's probably 2. That probably counts. You know, I'm gonna reward myself for that great exercise. You know, that must have been easily 42 calories worth of exercise. I mean, tell me if you think I'm wrong, dear internet. But that must have been. Yeah, there's no doubt. And so I'm gonna have a can of Coke. My favorite, okay, you know, I don't know why these are so rare in the UK now, but I love these miniature cans. And so we pour one in, and we make ourselves, ooh. By the way, okay, can I express my joy of the world? People don't realize, people are like so obsessed with finding like, ooh, well, you know, housing is going up in price. And like, that's tragic because you need a house to live. But you know what else you need to live? A glass. This glass cost me 25p from Tesco. I just walked in, I needed a glass desperately because I was having a party. And I own 0 glasses. I guess I own 1 glass now. And, so yeah, I got a glass for 25p. How, you know, we live in a world of insanely cheap things that you don't even realize because you're like, well, on the one hand, that's cheap, but getting cancer costs $1 million. And it's like, well, You know what? That does suck, I guess. Introvert having a party, impossible. Yeah, no, I do, I really like, hosting a fun party, but I've got this problem of, like, my ideal length of a party is probably about 6 hours, or so. Like, anything beyond that, and I just want my closest friends, I don't want anyone else. So, yeah, I'm jumping jacks, 8 calories a minute. Yeah, I did at least 6 minutes of jumping jacks. We all saw that, right? Everyone saw the science on that. They're gonna be starting healthcare. That's your one and only warning. I think there's an interesting problem in working out healthcare costs, because if you look anywhere around the world, especially the UK, it's rising like insanity. But the problem that people don't realize is, like, if you look at electronics are lowering in cost over time. You know, any like-for-like electronic product is massively cheaper than before. Think about how cheap, for example, a plasma TV is now compared to when the technology was fresh. Literally 100 times cheaper. But the thing is it's not actually cheaper. You know, like, games consoles are, you know, like, they're cheaper now. Like, an Xbox 360 is cheaper than it would have been in 2011. But if you're buying an Xbox now, you're buying a Series X, I think it's called. Well, you're not buying one because they're out of stock, but... Also, thank you so much, Bram17. I want to thank you again for becoming the 323rd member. We're just 27 away now, thanks to your generosity in becoming a wife. Wait, I can line up a great joke here with wife. If you just give me a minute, we'll come back to it. It'll be hilarious. You'll all laugh, and then you'll say that's offensive, Toycat, and then we'll be great. Anyway, so you know, actually, if you're buying an Xbox, you'd buy an Xbox Series X. So Xboxes haven't gone down in price in the last 20 years. Except they haven't gone down in price, therefore, they've gone up in quality. Like, they've either gone down in price if you buy the same Xbox, or they've gone up in quality if you buy the new one. And so that's true for, like, the electronics field, but it's true for, like, most fields, too. You know, like, basically the things that are going up dramatically in cost. Besides education, which is, I would argue, a scam, but obviously I would. You know, I make educational videos for free. Asterix, give me money. If you look at actual, you know, healthcare costs, they're going up, but also, you know, we're developing new treatments and stuff every year. And so it's like, is it worth spending more money for new treatments? If it's for your life, heck yeah, I would spend every penny I had to save my life. I mean, I wouldn't actually, but, like, you know, well, I don't think I would, but maybe in the heat of the moment, I'd be like, sure. But, you know, when it comes to, like, everyone's life, it's like, ooh, maybe we should just, you know, especially when it's like, you know, a system where we're all funding it, it's like, well, you know, should we be spending, you know, $1 million to save someone from cancer? Or should we be spending, you know, 100,000 and save, like, 7 in 10 people from cancer? You know, there's that value on a human life question, but it's like, oh, here again. And then you could also argue, though, like, if we move from 7 in 10 cancer-saving treatments to, you know, 10 in 10, not that that exists. Again, people die of cancer, it's tragic, every single year. It was like a really big, like, media hype when I was young, like cancer, and I feel like I haven't heard anything about it since, so... it's just an example because it's, like, so expensive to treat. Like, you die so slowly on cancer, and that's why it's so expensive and a big problem. Anyway, so long story short, you know, it's like, would you see that as healthcare getting more expensive if you improve health outcomes at the same time, or is that just that it's new things now? Why do I keep hearing note block sounds? Oh, I think it would be the over there. It's a cow jumping on the on the little thing. Yeah, best way to stop deaths of cancer is to hit them over the head, then cancer won't be what kills them. That's true. My genius way to lower cancer deaths to 0 is to bring a knife to a cancer... No, I guess make them play games of Russian roulette until only one stands, and then hope you can cure the one last patient, and then everyone's a winner, right? Everyone's a winner. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the drowned now, too. That's gonna be good. How big is the area you're draining, says Satan. It's a couple 100 blocks long, and probably just over 100 blocks wide. Actually, I don't know how long it is. It's definitely longer than that, now that I think about it. The thing about cancer to me is how much it's personified. Like, cancer is my enemy. I think we personify most big things in our life. Like, you know, I personify my dishwasher. Sorry, wait, let's, does that joke work? You know, yeah, I personify my dishwasher. I call her a wife. There we go. That's the joke. We got there. We went all the way around, but I made my offensive joke about Toycat members being wives. I hope you all enjoyed the journey we went on to get here. It was quite an adventure. I know, quite an adventure. Yeah, I you know, the real beauty in telling a joke is in the delay in between. People love a good slowdown. Anyway, is it wrong that I laughed at that? I think we have a wrongful attitude in modern day society that, you know, like, if a joke is offensive, you know, like, that offensive jokes are offensive, or that, you know, if you laugh at an offensive joke, you are offensive, or, you know, let's use the word problematic, because that's what people love to say. It's kind of problematic. But it's like, something isn't wrong just because you know, like, there are lots of things where you're like, yes, this is terrible, and I am laughing anyway. Like if, you know, Dave Solomon told me about this one, and I found it hilarious thinking back, because I'd forgotten about it. I forget about most things in my life, honestly. Probably a sign of something, huh? There's this interesting thing where, he, you know, like, his dad just died, was a whole thing. And I was like, you know, and it was like, you know, make a joke about it. And then the joke not only was, you know, fun for everyone watching to go like, ooh, you know, painful, but also it's like a good, you know, coping thing. Everyone loves to make jokes. I think that, you know, what's the phrase? Offenses taken, not given, something like that. I think that in general, like, people being cautious of what they're saying has benefits. Honestly, I guess the big problem is on the internet, we don't really have audiences. Like, you don't know what the audience of what you're going to say on the internet is until you've already said it. And that's why it's, like, best to be cautious. Like, okay, here's a philosophical debate, right? So, if you say the banned words on Twitch and YouTube, you know, the F slur, the T slur, all these words, right? If you say them, and because you know, like, these words are ostensibly offensive to a group. I think it's interesting though, if it's like, okay, if you say those words and you never interact with those groups, first of all, I mean, like, you should probably expand your social groups. But then, like, is it actually a problem? And the answer is yes, because eventually you'll come across someone who is from one of those very large groups that cover a large percent of our population. But it's like, actually no, right? I mean, you know, that's the reason why, even though this is the one that gets spicy. The N-word is very vilified. Even though that's true, lots of people all across America still say it and, like, don't get called out on it because they're only saying it in front of other people who are fine with it, right? And so, that to me is the interesting thing of, like, yeah, as long as you're not someone in your audience who is in one of those affected groups, say whatever you want. And it's not, but then there's a problem of, like, okay, what about people being, you know, what about the idea that, like, someone could overhear your conversation? If you're on the phone and you're like, N-word, D-word, T-word, S-word, B-word, you know, you're slamming them all out, and then someone is, you know, on there and they hear you, you know, is that nice? But I think that's an interesting argument, because, like, do you have the right to listen to someone in public, right? Like, I eavesdrop all the time, just as, like, because I'm in public, you know, I'm not doing anything, I'm on a train, and I hear, let me tell you a conversation I overheard. You know, it sounded like, I overheard the worst conversation in the world, where I was like, man, this is really rough for both these people. I heard a lot of these people relationship drama. Is that, like, my right to have heard that? Or is that just a thing that I heard, right? Yeah, I joined in on Toycat throwing slurs. See, right, but that's the point, I didn't, because I know I've got a large audience filled with people that, of every single creed and, you know, life. Like, if there are words that people would like not to be called, I would like not to call them those words. That's my rule in life, right? I think it's most sane people's rule if they speak to more than people than their mother. But I think the questionable bit comes when you try to say, like, okay, what should you enforce on behalf of other people, the rules of what you would and wouldn't like them to say. You know, again, if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with you and I say, you know, B word, T word, S word, you know, just all the words, all of the offensive ones. You know, like, should you be uncomfortable and should you be like, ooh, you shouldn't do that? And the answer is like, I guess, maybe you make the world better for those people by doing that. But it creates this, like, problem because we do this for a lot of things where it's like, yes, the only people who are capable, you know, that these people are so great, but the only people capable of defending them are people like me, you know, the heroes of the world. Like, a lot of people have this, this complex where, like, they personally need to be responsible for the world being better, in some big way. You know, they can fix injustice in the world. And the way they can do that is by getting a list of all the language changes people need to make and, like, making them onto other people. But yeah, I sometimes it's impossible not to eavesdrop. Yeah, I totally agree, Michaela. That's my point of, like, so is that your, like, right to do that, or is that still a private conversation? You know, if I share a private, okay, you know, if I'm on the tube, if I'm on a bus, that's a more relatable experience perhaps. If I'm on a bus and you know, I'm talking about some incredibly sensitive details, like, hey, so there's China's about to go under China, you know, Taiwan's about to invade Hong Kong. There we go. Did I say Taiwan or China? I hope I said China. Simply choose not to discuss private things in public spaces. I mean, like, that's what you would assume is the optimal solution, but that's not what people do, and so it's like saying, what's the solution to climate change? What if we all just sat home and killed ourselves? And it's like, well, who's volunteering to go first? You know, it's like, it's not really a solution, is it? And so, yeah, I felt like it's the same thing of, like, there's a lot of things we have to do as humans is, like, understand that humans are flawed, right? That even though you shouldn't be having private conversations in public spaces, guess what? Everyone is doing it anyway. So eavesdropping should be accidental. Putting an E on the floor should be on purpose. High quality Rishon. Make everyone deaf, says Cat Beanie. You know, do you eavesdrop on people, or do you not? Do you just take out your... I was going to say take out your ears, but you know what? I'm sticking with it. Do you just take out your ears when you're in public and don't eavesdrop? See, for instance... Okay, wait, oh wait. No, this is perfect. Cat... Okay, so... Cat, who is now a moderator on this channel, as of somewhat recently, is legally deaf. I still don't fully know the... At some point, I need to dive into that. But, that means there are hearing aids, right? And so, can we all decide on her behalf? Is it... If you have to do something specific to listen, and you do that specific thing to listen, is that, you know, is that form of eavesdropping, you know, avoidable, unavoidable, acceptable, whatever the phrase we're going for here is? Because I'm really torn, actually. I just do the look over your shoulder and whisper the slurs and no one can hear it. Right, that's the ludicrous thing about language, because some people genuinely are like, no, you should never. And it's like, well, I mean, like, I'm not saying you should say all those terrible words that offend people, but like, is it actually, is having though that air come out of your lips in that form that offensive? If they don't want me to hear them, they shouldn't talk near me. No, I totally agree. For the record, I'm on your side. Like, if I could turn off my hearing, I wouldn't hear it, because there's just so many juicy situations happening in public. Why would you not support LGBTQ? At this point, I'm annoyed when someone asks if I do, because any decent person would. It's just one of those, like, the phrase is culture wars, but it's like, people, it goes back to the thing I was talking about earlier, where, like, there's a lot of people, so some of it is, like, you know, like, the whole, if you're not exposed to a certain group of people, it's very easy to believe the worst of them, especially, you know, if the only interactions you do have are people being like, actually, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, because people realistically only get told the fictions of other people. Like, you know, for instance, I had never met a Jewish person in real life, and I met a Moroccan Jew in New Zealand once, and that's my experience. I didn't see Jewish people in real life till I was like a teenager, and so you know if I heard like negative stereotypes about them, I'd be like, okay, that sounds sure. That's you know why, or like the famous example in the UK. People from outside the UK get really upset about this one. Is there's a group of travelers who are just hated by anyone I've ever met, and then like I've only had one interaction with them, and they went to our public playfield, and they stayed there for 2 weeks, and so like no one could go near them because they were taking it all up. And then when they left a ton of rubbish behind. And it's like, well, that is, you know, like that being your one interaction is like, oh, you know, now you can be like, not racist, I guess, like lifestylist. Like people don't like the traveler lifestyle very much. I guess there's also like a race thing tied up in there though, so it's messed up. And so yeah, people can easily hate any group of people if they're like if you're not exposed to group people, it's very easy to have any opinion on them. Like I could easily, okay, wait, what's the opposite? Because I used to believe that I don't know what's an example, like, you know, gay dude's really good with money, and you know, like, or whatever else the example is. And it's like, and then you meet some, it's like, they're not all rich. In case you're curious, the stereotype actually has some truth though, because you know, I was thinking about this recently, because it relates to the Q&A Saturday thing of like, in society you have to pay for everyone else's children, which is like fine if you're like, but like, isn't it interesting when you combine that with the sphere of certain couples cannot have children, you know, and a lot of those couples, as you might imagine, are of certain preferences, and therefore like they're being forced to pay for other people's children in an indirect way. It's very interesting. Toycat, are you anti-Semitic? No, what it was actually is I just what I had heard, what was it? It was something like not offensive. It was something really harmless but dumb. Like I even forget what it was. And obviously everyone, actually, you know, I think the stereotype about money is widely known about Jewish people, and like again, there is always like the tiny nugget of truth that like expands into a whole thing. And so, you know, there's the nugget of truth that you could have on you know, the LGBTQ issue is like, oh yeah, well, mental health issues are much more common in that sphere, and so you know, like a tiny thing of like, oh yeah, you know, there is a slightly higher chance to have insert personality disorder here, becomes, oh my god, them be the crazies. Becomes, oh my god, those crazies want to change my lifestyle, even though, you know, just for the sake of there. And then you hear about like some heinous, because also it's more likely to be a what's the word, like a sexual, like a very intense thing, you know, compared to straight people who are much less maybe intense. I don't know what word I can use here to describe this and not disappoint Tommy's dad in showing Tommy you get me. Also, thank you, Big Cat, for becoming the 324th member and getting me a way out of that conversation, because you are the 324th member. Would you like to spin the wheel? There's extremists in every culture and religion. Yeah, exactly. It's hard for people to work out the difference between the extremists and the regular thing. Like you're saying, a lot of people genuinely believe. Spin the wheel. No, we avoided Pickle Juice shot. And we got show and tell. We're doing show and tell chat. Thank you very much, Big Cat 22, for allowing me to do show and tell. Show and tell is my favorite thing. Like, when friends come around, I legitimately like do a miniature show and tell. It's fun. I like showing people things. Yeah, I want to finish up by saying I have no idea what I'm talking about with all of that, and if I said something that offended you, I'll say something that offends me now too. Your mic quality sucks and your hair looks greasy. There we go. Does it look greasy today? I don't know. It looks greasy every day according to the internet. There we go. Okay, I've offended myself as much as everyone goes. Show and tell, show and tell, show and tell, show and tell. Everyone say show and tell in the chat to show your excitement for show and tell and our inability to talk about other things. Yeah, I wanna use this as an opportunity to do show and tell. So, I really like Asian markets. I didn't realize I liked Asian markets until because I went to Asia itself, and it's like, yeah, American Asian markets though, it's great because it's all anglicized for me. And so one of my favorite drinks that I first tried when I was in Singapore, the first time I went to Asia, it was only a few years ago actually, is sugarcane juice. And so this is sugarcane drink. It's a can I got there, and I figured I'd drink it live with all of you on this stream, if I remember, that is. So yeah, sugarcane juice. It's funny. I wanted to tie it into like a Minecraft bit. Like, you know what? I love sugarcane so much. I literally juice it. Speaking of juicing things, thank you for becoming the 325th member on the channel. Woo! Spin the Toycat wheel. What are we gonna get? Not the bit. No! How does it come up so often? I don't understand. I guess I'm not drinking sugarcane juice now. Instead, I'm drinking a shot of pickle juice. How does this... Like, statistically, this should be a 1 in 13 chance, because one of the options in the wheel is spin again. Which, therefore, just goes back to the first option. I don't understand. We've only gained, like, 20... You know, it sucks. Life sucks. It's terrible. I think that it's going to get better. Like, I'm going to start to enjoy these pickle juice shots. It's a matter of time. So, it's in a shot glass, but it's like a gun. Because first of all, Texas. The Texas got really destroyed. I don't even know how. But yeah, let's go. 3, 2, 1. That's so acidic. Life sucks because you're drinking pickle juice. I'd have something negative on there, but I didn't want it to be like alcohol or something, because, you know, again, you don't want to sell your health for money, is a good rule to have on the internet. Or, like, get yourself addicted in exchange for money. I know that alcoholism addiction is a whole blah, 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 whatever. You can ignore me on that. I love pickles so much, I spent $16 in a jar of homemade pickles from a farm stand last weekend. Says Jacqueline Smith. See, that's why people Can I make that joke? That's why people disagree with LGBT people? Or is that too far? You know, I won't make that joke. But that is the stereotype though, right? Like, I think it's called, what, dual income, no kids, dink? Like, you can have a lot of disposable income. Honestly, throughout history, most of where our money goes is on, like, raising children. I wish I was in a category of person that was... I mean, I guess I am in a category of person who can just choose not to have children. My distaste for pickles makes that bit funny for me, says Michael D. Imagine if I actually just love pickle juice and this is all a scam. Like, oh no, I guess I'll drink the pickle juice. Because that, honestly, of the 3 times I've had pickle juice, that was the least bad. That was the least bad by far. And I find that to be interesting. I guess, you know, by the time we hit 350 members, hopefully. Also, let's see if we can, right now, let's see if we can... Okay, so what font is this other one in? This other font is in Barn Schrift Condensed. So we can change this to be Barn Schrift Condensed. Look at that, chat. Look at the magic I just worked. Does it look the same now? I have to work out the size precisely, which is a mess. Oh, it's also sticking to things. I think it's there we go. Okay, what do you reckon, chat? Does that look better? Maybe if I like downsize it the tiniest bit more, maybe. Does that sound logical? I can add a little gradient to it if I want to. Should we do that just for fun? Yeah, let's do it. You know what? Right now, what else am I doing right now besides streaming? So make it like red. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's fancy. You enjoy that? I enjoy that. I think that's objectively worse, actually. I'll turn that off. Anyway, so, as you can see, do I have a problem with moving back and forth between entirely unrelated tasks? Yes, welcome to my Let's Play world. To get the exact sign, just line the 3 and the 5 up and match... Oh, yeah, that's smart. Line it up with the, so the 3 is... It's about the right size. It's just in the wrong place. I think. You know, it's far enough away now that it looks fine. Yeah, have you ever heard of anti-natalism? Like, everyone stop having children so humanity can go extinct and stop world suffering? So, when I was an edgy teenager, I heard about a lot of quirky ideas like that one. And I'm like, yeah, of course we should all just, again, let's all kill us. You know, when you're already on the line anyway, like what's adding another reason to die onto the list? The reason that I don't think anti-natalism is a good idea is because the more you learn about the world, the more you learn about the economy, and oh god, I guess there goes all the torches. Oh, so many torches. So many. Oh, they're all gone now, apparently. The more you learn about, like, the economy is basically structured so that some people don't get to work on the backs of some people who do. Like, people who are below the age of 18. Your school is being paid for by people who are in education. And when you retire at roughly 65, that is paid for by people who are in work. Again, there's like a balance every country has to have. And even when you shift that balance very slightly, like Japan is doing at present, you cause some really drastic effects. And so if you try to do it on a whole worldwide level, it could go terribly. Like, everyone's lifestyle would change immediately. If you stopped having children tomorrow, then the day, you know, this next year would be fine. Every year after that, things would go crazy. So, for instance, here's the tiniest example. Anyone who's, what in America you'd call a kindergarten teacher, every kindergarten teacher would just immediately become unemployed starting 5 years afterwards, right? Well, I don't know when kindergarten ends. So that's crazy. Every single manufacturer that sells, like, what is it? Not toys, but like, I guess child toys too, though. Child toys, prams, pushchairs, all those things, immediately they start to go under, because they have 0 customers left. Besides, I guess, you know, there's a group of people they would have left, but it'd be very small and very, you know, it's not the customers they're going for. I guess they'd have to adapt and genuinely aim for those people, which is a very interesting imaginary world to think about. But, yeah, basically the entire, world economy would just start breaking. I want a job after this kid is born. Says, Cat Beanie. Yeah, you need the world to work, right? And so, there's then there's the problem of, like, okay, the middle school passes, that becomes a thing. There's like a temporary productivity boost as everyone leaves high school, because you shut down all the schools, you shut down all of the education facilities that anyone needs, and then you have basically like 80% of the population. Like, you have insane amounts of people in the workforce, which could cause its own problems because it's going to be temporary. But again, we'll just say it's a golden age because everyone is employed. I mean, again, not everyone would be employed because the world would know that the collapse is coming 60 years from then. And so, in those 20 years where people have stopped having children, and we've shut down the entire schooling system, and we've shut down anything that aims at teenagers or children or anything else like that, ignoring that those things would have massive knock-on effects messing up the economy, we also just have the fact that a quarter of people that existed 20 years ago now don't. People are aging and dying every single year, but people aren't replacing them. So the population is shrinking every year as the last, as people from each year are slowly going extinct or being killed off or whatever else. And so that's already terrifying. That's wild. That's nuts. Oh gosh, life sucks. And so that's like kind of questionable, kind of going roughly. But then people start to realize, what's the point in working for retirement? What's the point in leaving money behind if we're not leaving it to another generation? The end goal for a lot of people with money is to, like, leave money for their kids or whatever, whether intentionally or not. And so without that, people are like, I'm going to spend all this money now because there is no future generation. Instead of investing in the future, instead of, like, working on new technologies and new exciting things for tomorrow, and legacies, because, you know, the concept of having a legacy for future humanity, that goes out the window. So none of that exists. Why does the economy matter if we're all going to be dead in 60 years anyway? Because we still all want things while we're alive, right? We all want lots of things. I would assume. I want things. If I know the world's going to end in 60 years, I want lots of things to compensate for it. And so, you know, everyone is like, everyone has this problem of like, I just want to get the most from my money now. And so there's this problem economies have. We're having it right now because of COVID. Everyone couldn't spend their money for a year, and now they're trying to spend it a year later. It's leading to pretty bad inflation in most of the Western world. And by pretty bad, I mean it's like 4, 5, 8%. But it's like, you know, like, because there is more money all of a sudden than there was before, because we compressed the demand that should have been in 2 years into 1, or in 5 years into 4, or however you want to say it. You'd be doing that on an insane level if everyone wanted to spend their money all at once before they died. So, you know, goods would rise in prices at insane rates. There would be huge classes of people who are unemployed and unemployable. Because, you know, like, again, who wants a high school teacher, you know, like, for unrelated things? Not many people in a world where the whole workforce is expanding. And so, even if we ignore all of those effects, even if we say, you know, what's an economy, man? What is, you know, like, having jobs? Are teachers even real, man? Then it's like, okay, now imagine, skip 40 years forward, how horrifying it would be when you're the last generation of people to grow old. So there is, again, this is 65 years after anti-natalism. There is not a single child left. There's not a single adult left. There's not a single middle-aged man left. You are the youngest person alive, and you're 65. Well, how does the food get grown? Who is working for that? Either your generation is doing it, which, by the way, why are they getting paid in? They're getting paid in some currency that they'll use for nothing. And so mass food shortages begin, assuming there's no automation, but no one's been investing in the future because the future has been a known non-quantity for a while. And so slowly every single year the world gets more and more horrific as the average age increases and fewer people are able to physically work. And you spend your last 10 years alive, the last 10 years of humanity alive, scrimping by and working because you can't retire, because without people who are younger than you working to pay for your retirement and to make the world exist, bad news. There is no retirement. And so you live your life miserably. And as you die, you realize, oh God, this whole experiment we just did, which ended horribly, by the way, my suffering, my pain, everything we ever did, it was all for nothing because no one's going to remember this. This is going to go down as one of the stupidest moments. And as you're 17...
I'm finally able to give back to you for all you do for the YouTube community. Thank you for bringing us content and happiness. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Mason. Mason? You know, I'll go with Mason. For the tip. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you think I do so much for the community. I'm always like, when people say something like that, I'm like, you know what? I'd love to hear specifics. I was like, you know what? Pat me on the back more, right? Like, I know there's some things I hear and I'm like, you know what? Do I really, though? Do I really do anything very much? Maybe a whole problem. Isn't there a movie to this, similar to this, called The Children of Men? Yeah, that stops when the last child turns 18, funnily enough. All I want to do is live in a forest and have a garden and chickens and make pottery, but even that costs a ton of money. Yeah, that's, I mean, I think you could do it for very cheap if you give up your societal trappings. It's just you love your societal trappings, right? That's why they're called trappings. But then here's the craziest thing. Even as you're like 70, you're in the last generation and life is terrible, and you regret all of this. You wish there was another generation. Everyone age 70, the average age that a woman becomes infertile is in the 40s? Might be late 30s, I don't... It's been a while since I've looked up the average menopause age. But even prior to that, you know, like there's a slow decrease year on year. And so it's like, man, you are too late. You are 30, 40 years too late to this. Humans have stopped being able to reproduce for the last 30 years. Even if we wanted children, we're done. It's over. And so yeah, long story short, yeah, not having children sounds great until you consider any of the ramifications, like most quirky ideas, frequented by quirky people in radical corners of the internet. Again, not necessarily bad. Just being pregnant at 30 plus is considered a geriatric pregnancy. That's fascinating. I would love to see, again, this information's like genuinely offensive to a group of people. I would love to actually see the odds. If you have 100 risky encounters at a given age, what are the odds of being pregnant? Because I know that the peak of it all is like surprisingly young, like 16 or 17 or something. Maybe it's 18. It's a lot younger than you'd think, you know. Like that's why the idea, there's this funny irony that like life has of like there are so many couples who are like ready to have kids, they've got money, and they can't do so. But also every single day there's a teenager who's desperately hoping that they don't get pregnant, and then they do, you know. And it's like, yep, those two things exist in the same world because beautiful irony. Not geriatric till 35. I should know I'm 32. Honestly, I'm gonna level with you here. I don't know, geriatric, pediatric, you know, they all just sound, they're all fake words to me. I guess I'm just not enough of a medical person to know or care. But above 35 is where the water gets choppy. I plan on getting a child by taking one that's up for grabs, so relatable. Oh, you're intending to have children, Jacqueline. That's fascinating to me. I don't know anyone who wants children. Like, I've actually heard about, you know, okay, this is like the murky world of adoption too. Again, so I don't intend to adopt or have children or do anything. I would love to like put a child into the world specifically for someone else to have, and then like keep contact with it or something. Wait, Jacqueline, hit me up. I don't know how US laws work, especially in your state. You know, it's really hard to like actually get a baby, because everyone who wants to adopt a baby, because then you can imprint yourself on it. Whereas if you adopt like an 8-year-old, let's be honest, it's an 8-year-old that's not had its parents for those first 8 years. A very high chance of being, at least, it's like getting a dog that's been beaten, but it's a human that's been beaten, you know? And so, yeah, long story short is, oh, this is a cool way to place gravel. Just place it like that. If you ever change your mind, borrow mine for 5 minutes, you'll be set for life. And so, like, if anyone wants to have a child, think about that. Do you want your child to be a moderately successful Minecraft YouTuber? You bet you do. How can you do this? All you gotta do is go to ibxtoycat.com/accidental pregnancy, and that's not a real website. I should set that up though. If you want to have a, I know. I felt like, here's the funny thing though. No matter what contract you sign, here's the reason why you shouldn't do that. By the way, just in case someone else is out there like, oh, yeah, I'd love to just put children into the world and let other people have them, because people do want children. And so you might think like, yeah, I'll do the nice thing here. The problem is that no matter what agreement you sign beforehand, you can't sign away a child's right to get, what's the phrase? Child support, I think. You can't sign away a child's right for that, because child support isn't there for the parents or for the, the biological father or whatever. It's there for the child. And so if that child has not access to basic things because the mother is dirt poor, it doesn't matter if you signed away your right to it, and if both of you agree to that, because the child needs money and you are the biological father, which is how we as society view lots of things. Howdy there.
Hope you are having a good Tuesday.
Thank
Always
you.
good to see you.
I am having a good Tuesday. I mean, I had a really good Tuesday morning. Got a couple third channel videos recorded. Got some really good breakfast. Fish and chips, in case you're curious. It's been a while since I've had a stream live. Thank you for keeping my sick self entertained. You sure do be sick, huh? I wanna quickly say that yeah, I really appreciate you too. You might think that it's the other way around, but I appreciate it, vice versa as well. If a parent releases parental rights, they're not legally obliged to financially support the child. I bet what it is I've been reading things about America, because I've heard so many cases of the opposite. And again, the logic is actually sound. It's like the court doesn't care about the parents' opinions. It cares about the child's lack of, being raised correctly. I guess the question is like, how should you fix that as a society, more than anything else? But yeah, it'd be good if in the UK that's true. I will give people my children. Hit me up. Hit me up if you want some moderately successful YouTuber children. I bet I can make that work for you. I mean, I bet I actually can't because of the legal ramifications of having a child on someone else's behalf. But let's ignore those for now. These streams get weird, huh? These streams get weird. No, actually, I genuinely do. A lot of people, like, talk to me about this, because, like, you know, everyone has this assumption. Like, as someone who is, like, not pro-child myself, I'm very neutral on children. Actually, I'm very against children. I'm neutral on the idea of, like, whatever, I'm against children. But, an interesting thing to me is that, like, it's kind of just assumed that, like, yeah, when your life is in order, you have the children. I mean, that's what the point of humanity is. We have two goals as a species, really, right? Survive and reproduce, right? You want to not die, and then you can do that in two ways. One is to not get eaten by a bear, and the other way you can not die is by passing on your genes, so that even if you're not alive, there are copies of your genes out there in the wild that can go off and do the same thing. They can survive and they can reproduce. Yeah, I think that it's interesting because it's just kind of seen as like the default choice, and I don't think it's a bad default choice. I think it brings more people, not joy. It brings a lot of pain and bad things in the world, but I think it brings people a sense of meaning that they are otherwise lacking. And I think that, like, you rarely meet a parent who's like, yep, it's objectively terrible, there's not a single good thing to say. It's always like, yeah, it's very rewarding. I mean, sure, my life sucks and I can't do all the things I want to do anymore, but it's rewarding. I think guys especially, like, have this weird relationship with responsibility where, like, hate, but also love, but also hate. I don't know, I only had a child because I wanted to leave a mark in this world, but was too lazy to do anything constructive about it, so I passed the problem on, says Ronstar308. You know, I don't know if that's a real story or not, but if so, power to you, question mark. Maybe not. Yeah, I assume that's a joke, right? Is that for real? Just like, I just had a child, thought I wanted it, didn't want it. I wish you know, if there was a, like, return option on children, I'd have had a, I mean, it's not me doing the effort, but I'd have instructed my solicitors to tell someone to have a child by now. Nearly half the US's pregnancies every year are unwanted. Just think about that. Anyone watching this live stream, you were statistically unwanted. For real, I do love him. My parents had 4 children, idiots. At least they didn't name all their children after a dodgy prince, like Toycat's parents. You know what? Prince Andrew really is ruining the brand name of the name. It does have to be said. Like, come on, guys. You can do better than this. You can do so much better than this. Like, they obviously can't, it seems, but they should be able to. How are you today? I don't know, I'm bored, says Aki Tendless. Being bored is, like, such a funny position to be in, right? Finding things that satiate you is a good idea. Like, try and find things not that just, like, satisfy you from moment to moment. Try and find the things that are, like, hitting that long run spot. Like, yeah, I want to come back to this and excel and succeed and do whatever else it is with this every single day. I feel like this teenage thing of, like, being bored and having all the time in the world but not knowing how to spend it. It's like both a gift and a curse, because it's like, yeah, if you know how to spend that time, you're in this, like, huge great situation. But, like, who knows how to spend time? Time is this, like, infinite resource. How prevalent is real family drama affecting UK life? It's the same thing as America, where, like, I don't know, 40% of the population follows it like it's celebrity drama, and then everyone else is like, oh, yeah, here's something happened today, huh? We were like, oh, you don't know about Archie? And it's like, the comic? It's like, no, it's a new human being that we pretend is important because, I don't know, I don't even know. I don't even know why we pretend to claim it's important, but we do, damn it, and that's important. Okay, so now I can actually start draining this as well. So I'm going to do precisely that, just for the fun of it. Drain, drain, drain. Oh, wait. With this up here, I should just use this, actually. Drain, 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 and then we get over to here. And so now we do a second layer of drain, but on the floor. And would you look at that, and the success we've made here. Wonderful. Okay, so that's about as good as we can do. Pretend they're important because someone won some wars hundreds of years ago. Yeah, it's there is like an interesting thing, right? That all royal monarchs have their powers because their ancestors go 1,000 years back to when the French conquered England, the Normans, in case you're British. And it's interesting because, like, why should we respect that power today? And the answer is that we, for whatever reason, in our society, we do have lots of systems where we don't have to question if it's good for right now. We just say, well, we'll follow that because that's how it's always been. When people on the internet in 2021 complain about being bored, I want to say, I grew up playing with house bricks in a field until dinner and abuse is wrong stuff. I feel bad for laughing at that, but it's totally true. Like, bored, like, it's funny though, because, like, especially on the internet, you have this infinite amount of stuff, but how do you know what the stuff is for you, you know? How do you know what the right thing is that is correct for you to do? So yeah, it's because they have the biggest army around. Yeah, right, like we're, like every country is built on this fundamentally because you need power to have anything else in a country. But it's also just very weird to think about too hard. At least that's my personal take on this. I have lots of other takes that you can hear. Toycat, what sort of videos are you planning in the future? Says AlexS92. All sorts of videos. Get this right. I'm gonna do a seed video this Sunday. And then after that, I'm gonna do a store video. Actually, that's gonna be a really cool one this Saturday. It's easy to find stuff that's right for you. Just let Facebook show you. There are a ton of algorithms that would love nothing more than to show you exactly what you should be doing at this precise moment. There are so many algorithms that are like, yes, please, give us this power. We swear we won't even probably mostly abuse it. Okay, so now my plan is to grab more of these. Throw all of those in there. That's probably going to go slightly over. So is this, so we'll just let it boil over to the next one. And then we grab some more gravel, because I'm going to be placing a lot of that now. Because I'm going to start expanding it on the right side as well as the left. Because eventually I have to do that anyway, so if it's eventually, might as well make it now, right? So let's just fly into this waterfall. Yeah, Seed and Sunday. You should call that series Seed Sunday. Okay, get this right. This moment right here is when I decided to make a seed series called Seed Sunday. This is the moment, everyone. Keep it in your minds. It's exciting. But yeah, I had a birthday cake sent to my sister and was advertised exercise bikes afterwards. See, it's funny because people always complain about targeted advertising, but they complain way more about not targeted advertising. And it's like, what do you want? And the answer's like, no advertising. So, well, that's not a viable solution. Also, Diluted Dante. Strangely, women lying in ponds, distributing swords is no system for a basis of government. I butchered it, but, you know, I don't even know what that quote comes from, but I've seen it so many times. Do, 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 do. I'm so terrible at singing along with that. It's one of my favorite things every time, though. Guess what? We get to have a spin on the wheel of Toycat. Guess what? We get to have a second spin on the wheel of Toycat. Thank you, Izzy McCady, for becoming another channel member, the 327th. So let's spin the Toycat wheel. I'm very excited for this. Oh, no, oh. Google/Urban Dictionary your name. So I'm gonna Urban Dictionary. Oh, it doesn't show who just became. Oh, Mason. I'm gonna Urban Dictionary you now. Okay, we're gonna sit next to this, so we have some interesting visuals while we do that. Okay, we're gonna spin it a second time as soon as we're done. Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary Mason. Let's hear about who Mason really is. Urban Dictionary Mason. This guy is a great... Oh, wait, no. The guy who shits his pants in PE at the age of 15. Damn it, Mason, not again. I'm sorry, dude. I hate to tell you that. Is 350 the drunk stream goal? That is the, if I'm not mistaken, the breathalyzer goal. I should check that, actually. We did have a list of them. Okay, Izzy McCady, let's spin the Toycat wheel. Oh, it could be anything. Could be anything. Make a sign with your name. This is my least favorite one, because I have to go all the way. Because I keep my whiteboard over here because I'm dumb. Oh, it's just in such an awkward place. There's this funny thing about, like, reaching things. The, like, something that's, like, 5 seconds away from you, but is, like, hard to grab, is, like, basically not near you. Okay, so... I've got you a sign right here. I'm gonna write Izzy McCady. Okay. Is E McCady. Look, I did it like you're French. It looks like Is McCadai. You know? You know, take this to your funeral. You're welcome. What a great idea that is. To your funeral? Am I implying I'm gonna murder you? I guess I am. Like that end highway. Like the... I thought it'd be a Minecraft sign, like a forever part of your world, says Wally Stockman. Do you think we should do that instead? Do you think I should make a Minecraft sign? Have a forever little thing in the world. If you want, chat, we can switch over to that. What do you reckon? Please don't murder channel members. I mean, okay, here's the thing. It's a risky game murdering channel members. On the one hand, it could be a loss of revenue. On the other hand, you know, if you're murdered, you can't end your channel subscription. I'm so curious in the modern age. If you die and you have a Netflix subscription running, like, does anyone, like, deal with that, you know? Like, is there a service where you tell Netflix, my dad's dead, please stop taking $7.99 a month from him? Or are there just a ton of people right now who have been dead for so long, and Netflix is just raking in, or, you know, YouTube Premium, or... You don't... Do I have a dead channel member? Literally. Googling my name should be the only reason to use only the Urban Dictionary for the spin. Oh yeah, it is Urban Dictionary only. Don't worry, Lauritius. We made changes. You know, if only everyone had a unique name. My neighbor died and it was a big deal to get him unsubscribed from much stuff. I guess it's just one of those things you don't talk about too often, because, like, everyone's more focused on the bigger things, like, well, when you die, do you go to the magic place in the sky, or does your body rot in the ground? Also, if you die, who gets the money? Isn't it funny, whenever someone dies, like, there's always, like, a family fight about, you know, who deserves the money and whatever else. And I've always found that to be like, man, this is the opposite of what you want. And so I've got a very funny will. I think I might share it with the internet sometime, actually. I had a very fun will written up where it's like, you know, people might not be happy with what they get, but they're going to enjoy the process of having it be done. Stealing money from the dead like a genuine John Smith. Big Frank's done for as many magazines as possible right before you die. Yeah, you know, there actually is a huge problem with, like, okay, if I die, who knows what my bank account details are, right? You know, like not in the sense of, like, you don't know my account number and sort code. It's like, what bank do I use? How many people am I telling that information to? And even if I tell you which bank I use, what other banks am I using? What are the passwords to my accounts? And the answer is, like, I'm not writing down the passwords to my accounts. I'm not dumb. And so it's like, oh, so yeah, those things just get lost forever, huh? And it's like, yep. They're just gonna be, I'll die, and where the money's held. Because, funny enough, also, yeah, your family's totally committed to paying Netflix in perpetuity. It's such a ball ache, it's hard to convince people that someone is dead. Yeah, it's interesting, because, every social media, like, had to work this out, like, after the fact. Like, oh, yeah, people have these things that they consider to have value, and they, like, want them, and it's, like, really hard, and I don't get it. Also, please don't kill me, Mr. Taxman. Here's my Toycat tax. Thank you so much, Izzy Bun, for the second tip on today's stream. I spot you with your fun name. I picture you being, like, a bow bun, but with the name Izzy mixed in there. You know, I have 2 Izzy's watching. See, isn't that statistically unlikely? That's, you know, that's why there could be anyone, if any. Ethnicity, gender, religion, race, spectrum watching me. And it's like, that's cool, you know? We shouldn't... Maybe that's a good thing. Or maybe it's not. Who's the boss of me? Not me. That's for sure. Used to be you could wait for mail to come, and then you gotta get into the dead person's email accounts and hope to find everything that way. Yeah, right, and if you... How are you gonna get into the... Because Google won't give you access to their accounts if they're dead. Like, that's not a thing. Long story short, dying is a whole problem right now. And any service you can set up to make that easier is vulnerable to hacking. And so it's like, okay, never mind. Like, again, I have lengthy instructions what to do with my money. I don't have a list of places where the money is or the account details or anything like that. I at one point had all my recovery passwords on a piece of paper that I stored somewhere, and then I realized, well, that's just a secret. Like, you know, I would rather die and have people around me be confused than live and witness this go into the wrong hands. It was because someone in my family at one point, I have a couple of issues of family members stealing from me. Like, it's like a... Man, I just finally opened it, and it opened so weirdly. Oh, it tastes like peas. Oh, yeah. That's not the sugarcane I know and love. Is it peas? It tastes like baked beans liquid. That's so strange. Even with death certificate to prove the account is associated with a deaf person. It's like a police thing though. Like there's so many. Okay, do I have any torches left? I have 34. We're gonna make these last, chat. That sounds worse than pickle juice. Yeah, I'll give it a little spinny spin. Okay. Tastes like baked bean liquid. That's so weird. That's fascinating to me. I wonder how that happens, you know? Beverage review is back. What happened to your views since last year, says Colin Elliott. My channel is in a constant state of up and down. I think we're in one of the longest down phases there's been in a while. You know, then we'll eventually have another up phase, and then we'll have a down phase after that. Or maybe this is the down forever. No way to know for sure. Yeah, it's fascinating because I don't know. I think the way I make videos isn't conducive to the way the algorithm wants me to make videos. Like I don't know. And also I've been having a huge problem. I want to level with you. Getting really big videos edited just doesn't work. Like, I have editors who can do, like, smaller things. But, yeah, like, taking too many hours of footage and condensing it. Haven't found an easy way to do that. So, yeah, will we do that again soon? Probably. It's a good idea. If you give your login and save your password, they can look at your saved logins and log in. Put it in your will for someone to post the latest Let's Play update to the marketplace. See, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do as much of stuff as I can after my death automated. Oh, here's a cool thing, chat. If I die, on the third channel, Andrew Andrews, there's like 3 videos that'll be posted 2 years from now, and like I just keep moving them. I can't wait to die, and then after I die, have videos be released way after the fact posthumously. I want you to have fully forgotten I exist, and then because you know, if a YouTuber dies, they're forgotten about so quickly. I want to fully stop existing, and then 2 years later be like, whoa, that's just a new video that's just been sitting there this whole time. And like, I would love that experience as a viewer of someone else, and so I'm looking forward to dying so people get that with me, you know? It's gonna be cool. I'm not gonna be able to see it, but like, you know, some things you don't get to enjoy yourself. Some things you gotta do for other people. That is Toycat's advertisement for becoming his wife. Anyway, I will never forget Andrew Toycat Esque. I don't think I'd forget about you, says Jamie. I think it's like, you know, like, do you remember your childhood best friend? You know, am I your childhood best friend? I hope not. I think it's just one of those things where like you think about it less and less as time goes on. And then some people do outright never think about it again. Every single day, someone thinks about you for the last time. Actually, that's not true for most people. Every year, someone thinks about you for the last time. Like this year, someone from your middle school class is like, oh yeah, do you remember that? Do you remember that Benny guy? He used to eat the grass. And it's like, oh, that's weird. Meanwhile, he's like he's Benjamin, the high-class lawyer, getting paid 200 quid an hour to, I don't know, work on divorce law. And there's a kid remembering for the last time as, oh yeah, he used to eat grass. That was weird. He's not a cow, as best I can tell. And so yeah, I still occasionally see my childhood best friend on Twitch, says PsychoBob78. See, that's gotta be an interesting experience, right? That's gotta be interesting. But yeah, I think that dying is such an interesting topic because it's like, most people's preference on most of these things is like, let's try and not talk about it for as long as we can, because then I can believe that I'm never going to die. And it's not a very functional attitude towards the world, in my honest opinion. Like, you know, I feel like we should have a better view on things than if we don't talk about them, then we don't have to think about them. Which is, funnily enough, probably why a lot of people have those strong biases against people. Like, it's something that isn't spoken about very often, and so it only comes up negatively. Just like a lot of people genuinely wouldn't have known too early on the stream that having children after, 35 gets tricky, and having children after, 45 is near impossible, right? Like, those are the things that people don't think about because it doesn't come up. Or, the fact that there are so many children in the, what's it called? The foster care system? The something care system. There's so many children that are just, like, gonna be there perpetually because no one wants to adopt a child that has all those issues. And because, people always think, oh yeah, there are way more children that need to be adopted than there are adoptees. But actually, there's a ton of parents out there who are desperately aiming for a, like a baby to just take from someone. And so, if you, that's something to consider, I guess. If you're in a situation where you're like, ooh, I don't know if you're like 8 months in, you're like, actually, I don't want this baby. So do I, what do you do in that situation? Fall down the stairs or, because I think it's illegal to, yeetus the fetus after a certain amount of time. In most jurisdictions. And so it's like, okay, that's a nice piece of information. It's a little bit of hope for someone out there. For a while before YouTube learned that I liked you, I had to repeatedly remember and search for you. Being a YouTuber must be so hard. Imagine if that's how any other relationship worked, like, oh yeah, it is a weird situation, but there's a lot of benefits for it. Sorry for texting and can't give money again, but when is Hex coming out? Says Morgan Short. Hex is releasing, or Hex is going to CERT later this week, and so it will be out early September, I would guess. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think that it's I think it's a real big, no one wants to adopt teenagers. Yeah, exactly. It's a sad reality of the system and everything in it. Yeah, I forgot what point I was making before that. I just realized I can get rid of all the... If I just did this, I could have saved myself so much time. Okay, whatever. I'm doing it now. Get myself the gravel back. For some reason, when gravel falls on glass, it breaks. Oh, hello. I guess you're here now. I guess you're not anymore. I guess he can't even get that mad of you when you attack him, I guess. Wait, is there no downside to attacking a wandering trader? That's so interesting. Regular villagers get mad and give you worse trades, but he's just like, whatever. I get it. I'm annoying. Yeah, no, I enjoy a lot of things about being a YouTuber. I try not to get too far in the like, ooh, it's a terrible thing. Because it is great. I am living my best life thanks to the last 5 or 6 years of success on YouTube. It's a shame it can't come out on the 6th of September. Oh, yeah, that'd be smart. You know what? There's a chance we can get it to come out on the 6th. Because wait, so the 4th of September is a Saturday. It can't, yeah, it'd have to be the 7th. Llama spit is your only penance. I didn't even get spat at by llamas, so I got off scot-free. I got off entirely scot-free there. Maybe I'm sure they were meant to attack me. I don't know why they didn't. Does anyone understand anything on Bedrock? The answer is no. We don't. But yeah, no, I feel like sometimes there's this weird feeling of like extreme guilt of like when you don't find something that is considered great, like you know, being a YouTuber is one of the dream jobs. It literally is. It's the most sought after job by like children. You know, like it's the new being a footballer or being a celebrity thing. And so it feels bad when you take what is effectively a dream job. Not even effectively a dream job, it just is a dream job, right? That is what it be. And when you take that dream job and you're like, it's not as good as you're thinking. It's like, well, you not only are you ruining some people's dreams or whatever, but also it's just like, oh yeah, of course you're not enjoying it. Just like it comes across a weird way. And ultimately, like I've always had this opinion that like pain isn't absolute, it's relative. You can't say, oh, well, on the one hand, you say it hurts, Toycat, but on the other hand, there's a lot of starving children in Africa, so how about shut up about your weak knee or whatever. A society grows great when a YouTuber schedules upload, which they will never see, says Zoomgo. Like, for real, right? I feel like everyone needs to be conscious of what happens after they die, and then we'll have a better world for tomorrow. Maybe, you know, that's a real thing. But no, yeah, I really am excited for people who aren't me getting to see those videos after I die. You know, there's not going to be a pinned comment on there or anything. It's just going to be a thing. I almost want to upload like a video will that way now. You know, like, hello, I am Toycat, and if you're watching this video, I have long died. I have some thoughts I'd like to share. You know what? Cave update was actually better than we gave it credit for. Should have been split in two? No. Was it that terrible? Also no. Gravel actually got pretty useful before the end. Also, I'd like to make my apologies to, and then I'd make a ton of apologies to every group that I need to. You know, it'd be funny if I like left it as like a stock video. I'd like to make my apologies to insert groups I have offended here. And also, I would like to explicitly state that insert powerful government, the shadowy government of the day, and person who killed me. I don't regret your decision unless it was intentional, in which case, why did you do this to me? Why didn't you kill someone less important? You'd okay in the afterlife, Satan as a fan, as even in this live stream. Yeah, Toycat did not kill himself. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so you know what? I wanna talk about something because it's on my mind more than it should be. So John McAfee, as he pronounces it, he put out he's been arrested for tax evasion or something like that, and which is funny. And so just before he died, he said like, oh yeah, I have no issues going to prison. Food's great. It's gonna be fine. And so if I die, it's not willingly. And then like he commits suicide the next day. And I was like, there's no way he did that. And it's like, actually, as someone who's seen a lot more John McAfee content than the average human being, there is no way. Like, that's such a clever way to get people to talk about you. Like, he has the exact same attitude I do. Like, let's have a fun time after my death. I mean, I'm not gonna be around there to witness it, you know. Also, yeah, Toycat was not captured by a terrorist organization. You know, it's true. It is very much true. Seems sus for sure. Hey, Runstar308, thank you for becoming the 328th channel member. We are now just 22 away from the goal. And you know what happens at the goal? You know, is anyone in the stream? Wait, one sec. I have to quickly start. Okay, so I want to test something right now, chat. I'm gonna download a video and we're gonna see if it messes up the stream. And then we're gonna spin the wheel of Toycat. Okay. So tell me, how is this going? Is everything fine? I think everything is fine. Oh, it's the download that's going slower while the stream goes at the same speed. Now that is beautiful. So yeah, just tell me if you see any lag in the next while, because it seems as though we're actually fine, which is fascinating. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so now we're gonna hit the spin the wheel button. It's not a button. It would be so much easier to do a digital version of this, right? Okay, let's spin. Let's get it ready. Let's get it ready. Ronstar 308. Today, on behalf of your glorious membership, I am going to drink water. You know what? Hydration check. Very good. Where is the video feed gone? Is that actually happening to anyone? I think it's fascinating. The video's fine for me. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it looks fine on my end. The shonky hand-powered version of the Wheel of Toycat is what makes this channel great, says RonStar308. Hey, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad that you decided to stick around even when YouTube wasn't recommending it or whatever. And thank you for hydrating me indirectly with the wheel and directly with the membership, and which again is one of my favorite ways to encourage people to tip, because it's in the world of who knows what's happening every month. Like, is YouTube gonna share my videos of people who want to watch them, or is it not? You don't have any idea until the month's over. And so how do I vote to remove water from you, says RonStar308. I guess if you became we should have a Rich Cat special wheel, right? And it's like really extreme dumb stuff. Remove water from Toycat. Toycat has a child of the next person to chat, etc, etc, etc. All tips pay for utilities and hydrate Toycat. There we go, Michael D. You know, one of my biggest shames, like unironically, even though it's dumb, is I've been drinking a lot more bottled water recently. Because like partially because I've been like moving around so much, like I have to get used to water before I can enjoy drinking it. And I know I'm not like fully used to the water here. And partially just for like, okay, it's like convenient and it tastes better, and it's like, you know what? I'm becoming someone who drinks bottled water. It's very cheap, right? It's like, it's one of the cheapest quality of life upgrades, if it is a quality of life upgrade. But it's one of those things where it's like, I mock people so relentlessly for this, and now this is my life, you know? Hydrate Toycat's the point of brain damage. Yeah, if enough people become members quickly, I'll start dying from all the water and the pickle juice shots. I'm just saying, would you like to contribute towards my death and get those Toycat has died videos as soon as you like? You better believe you can. Buy a filter and just use that. I've been doing that, but there's so many steps for that. It's like, refill the filter, pour the filter into a, you know, I like what, okay, here's the thing. If you want to do healthy things for yourself, you know, working out, you know, drinking water, eating right, you need to make those things the path of least resistance. The easiest option at a given juncture should be, I will do the thing that is good for me. And then the harder option, you know, no, get one of them tap filters, says Frosty Brandon. Okay, so I doubt I have any plumbers here. But I got a plumber to come around my house. He was recommended by a neighbor, and he's very slightly cheaper than the other plumber I had anyway. You know, in London, plumbers are so expensive. It's like 90 genuine quids for just to get a plumber around. It's insane. Like per hour, I should clarify. Like my guy's cheap and he's £72 an hour. And so because he's a cheap plumber, I was like, so can you install this filter? And he's like, nah. And I was like, okay. So he installed my tap and he just didn't install the filter. And I was like, oh, that seems like we're missing a key part of the process, maybe. And then he said, yeah, actually, hard water, you know, like, because I said the hard water's bad for you. And he's like, nah, actually, soft water's worse for you because of all that chalk or whatever else. And I was like, oh, okay then. He's like, I avoid it all. I just drink beer, I do. It's like, you're a middle-aged, like as in, you're from the Middle Ages, and you've somehow come to the present. And it was ludicrous. It was very ludicrous. Apartment living is nice when you can just call maintenance, says Brian. Yeah, it definitely is a, I live within some distance of apartments. I live within a distance of apartments that is not close or far. And, I'm always reminded, because it's like, you know, let's make up numbers here. Let's say it costs 700 emeralds to live in this house. Again, it's 4 bedrooms, I think. I think it's officially 5 bedrooms, but like, that's a lie. So it's a 4-bedroom house, and it costs that amount. Whereas living in the apartment is 500 emeralds. And it's like, even though you get to have just the guy you call, and even though, you know, like there's all these fun benefits, etc., etc., etc. It's just also like, you know, even on just like a pure one-to-one level, ignoring the service charge and everything else, it's just cheaper per space amount to live in the house, right? Also, Kemet, thank you so much for becoming, guess what? The 329th channel member. You know what that means? Landlord replaced my dryer literally while I was worksday, so I cannot complain. But I do want to own a home if I feel like I'm throwing away money long term. I feel like apartment living isn't throwing away money, right? Like if you, that's a special lifestyle, because like buying an apartment is especially questionable. But speaking of things that are questionable, let's spin the wheel of Toycat. Oh no! How does it? Oh, okay. I don't have any pickle juice. You know what? I'm gonna go get myself some pickle juice. Let's all just sink this in, enjoy the pain, be right back. Life is so much harder now. I have to go up a full 2 flights of stairs to get between the kitchen and here. I might have to get like an elevator installed or something. Anyway, how are you doing, Internet? I hear that in the time I was gone, someone new became the 330th channel member. But before we can spin the wheel, I ran out of pickle juice, so you can't actually see it because of the green screen filter. I ran out of pickle juice. So there's a pickle in my shop. The invisible pickle! Oh my god, this is incredible. So I'm gonna drink it and then eat the pickle. I don't know how this is gonna work. I used to love pickles so much. I used to love pickles so much End of sentence. My friend has an elevator between his living room and bedroom, but he's disabled. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay, Eva Megson. Spinning the wheel. Seeing what happens. Do your accent. Eva Megson, where are you from? Eva makes me think you're German, but also, like, America's just like that. Oh, also, I put the sugarcane juice in a... with a chopstick for some reason. I put the sugarcane juice in a cup. Nope, still tastes like bean juice. Oh, why is this a thing? I love sugarcane juice so much. It's so delicious. Eva Megson's from Oxfordshire. Darn, Oxfordshire's like in my... Like, I associate Oxfordshire with Oxford, which is very posh. I don't actually know if Oxfordshire itself is, like, oi, jolly ho, chaps, we're going down to the... I generally don't know an Oxfordshire accent. I'm from Oxfordshire, I am. This is me accent. I'm doing proper good over here. This is a little bit West Country, more than I was going for. But in Oxford, we're a little bit West Country. I mean, we're technically in the west of the country, you know. There we go. That's how Oxfordshire people sound. I'm like 99% sure. Reykjavik, Iceland. You know, just remember, try to remember everyone's favorite person, Crocky mate. Yeah, close enough. There we go. That even Megson can confirm. That's exactly how people from Oxfordshire sound. I nailed that on the head. Not a single problem I think you'll find. I mean, besides all of the multiple many problems. But we ignore those problems because it's convenient to do so. Okay, so yeah, I really like the progress we made right here. I like that there's more progress to be made. Yeah, I now do Texan. Well, you see, I do a few too many Texan accents. People have been telling me for a while I got to stop them. And so I'll be doing my best to listen, because I learn
Howdy,
about...
Toycat. Here is your allowance.
Hey, Pookie, it's good to see you. How are you doing on this fine Tuesday morning? Personally, I'm doing very well. I'm excited, because after the stream is over, it's like, I've been sleeping slightly later every day, and so, usually when the stream ends at 11, it's like, I'd better go to bed. Today I think I'm gonna go for a little bit of a walk. I think I'm gonna enjoy a little bit of life before I go and solidify that in, which will be fun. How did you not use your Texas accent in the Texas gas station video? I have a confession to make about that video. There was so many clips that I recorded for that either went missing or like I don't know what happened to them, long story short. And there's so many clips that I didn't record for that video that they made their way in there. It was yeah, it was one of those mysteries, I guess. No one really understands what happened. But it did in fact happen. So that's clearly a thing. Went missing. I mean, like, it's impolite to call someone out for questionable editing, right? You know, it's fine. No, it was a lost video, so I don't hold it against. I don't hold it against her. Do Jacinda Ardern's accent. Oh, you're right. We're crikey, bloody hell. We're in Kangaland, and I hear there's gotta be a. Okay, let me try and find a funny word for this. Like there's a big problem in our nation. There's a big black spider in the southwest. This is my best Jacinda Ardern. You know, I could be her right now. I know there's no real way to tell us apart at this current moment. Oh my lord, is that Scottish? The thing about New Zealand is it's like vowel shift. It's like when you get it, it's really easy to get. It's just very hard to start. Toycat just said blick. Oh yeah, it's blick. In New Zealand, I've got a big outside me house. I got a big dick. You know, like that's the way they say it, because they got the E's shifted to like I's. Good day, mate. You know, I think New Zealand people say kia ora instead, right? I like good day as a greeting. I genuinely do. You know, it is enjoyable to me. Help me, I'm turned to American with the sugar from a chocolate bar. A big what? Yeah, I got like a, you know, the thing that goes outside your house, the thing made of wood. A big, you know, like a wooden dick, you know, like a big, see, this doesn't work if my accent is convincing. I'm just saying impolite conversational words. Yeah, my neighbors are jealous of it. I tried to see how many strangers I can fit on my there's an Australian ad about New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's New Zealander ad about New Zealand, but you know, if you're New Zealand, you know, like 10% of you are laughing at this and understanding the joke, and everyone else is just like, wow, Toycat, coming out as partially tree, I see. So yeah, I'm like, you know, there should be 24-hour fish and chip shops. I'm like craving like a Savoy right now. There should be 24-hour lobster roll stores. That'd be the real game changer. Toycat, why don't you put the sponges on the gravel? Because if you put it on the dirt, it'll go in like the middle of the stuff. Like putting it on the gravel would be less effective, I think. Maybe not. We could try it again. I find it to be just very structured, which is nice. Again, I think it's less effective, but also look, zombie villages of the jungle variety are down here. It's very weird to look at for too long. Flight of Conquest made the same joke. Murray has the accent Toycat's talking about. It's a very funny joke. I mean, really, is there any form of comedy that is higher than making jokes about human appendages? I think you'll find there is not. Here's a toonie to get yourself some Timmies. You know, it took me so long to work out, like, toonies versus loonies until it's like, oh, well, a toonie is, of course, 2, and so a loony must be 1. That's, like, my least favorite bit of Canadian culture, though. Because, you know, at first it's charming and interesting, and it's like, there's no... You know, it's like one of those, like, fake things. Like, no one actually does that, right? I've been to Canada so many times, the ones have been like, oh, yeah, for us a toonie, lad. I don't know why it's lad. I don't know what my accent even is at this point. Lobster hospitals. Lobster hospitals, indeed. Are jungle villages ever naturally spawning in the game? Yeah, in a jungle, right? I mean, probably. The loony is from the loon on the back. You know, I gotta look at more Canadian coinage. I'll do that one day. It's funny because I used to travel to like North America a lot, like, you know, skiing, Canada, or like any form of winter sport in the west of Canada, and then like, you know, travel to America to see a city. It's been like so long since I visited the entire continent because both countries have banned me for quite some time. But at least America's ban was circumventable. The other ban still not, right? Toonie came decades later and is a joke name. Ah, there we go. See, there's the cultural explanation that we need in our life. I like your sponging technique. A lot of people tell me about how it drives them crazy, the way I basically do anything. I feel like this is one of the few things we got mildly efficient though. So I'm proud of myself there. I just say gold doubloon, that's basically what it is. I'll take 5 of your finest doubloons in exchange for this thing. So if you want to know what I've been up to recently, by the way, I've been trying to get rid of a ton of things that came with the house. And it's actually been pretty... You know what, chat? Like, so, I had, like, a huge family drama. Because, like, for whatever reason, this is, like, dumb family stuff. Like, like, some of my family members were like, oh, the house should be empty when you buy it. And I was like, well, I wasn't that bothered. And, like, also, like, some of these things are of value. And the rest was, like, easy to get rid of, right? You just take it away, put it in place. And, so here's the question, chat. If you could have a house, it's like the storage unit question. If you could buy a house that's like entirely empty, ready to move in, or buy a house that's filled with 50% things worth between 10 and 50 pounds, or dollars, or whatever your currency is. You know what annoys me? People who like genuinely don't understand that like currencies are pretty fungible into one. Like, you know, if you give me $2 Canadian, like Maple Demon did, which I will buy some Tim Hortons with the next time I'm near one. You know, The moment they open a Tim Hortons in London, I need to know. But if you want to if you give me any currency, it just like it turns into my currency, you know? It's not like, oh yeah, now I've got these Canadian dollars I've got no use for, because it's not like I can go to Canada or anything. I'm gonna go to America when borders open, whenever that is. It'll be my first time going overseas. Scary stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. If you're from New Zealand, going abroad isn't just like, yeah, I'm gonna take a little trip to Spain over there. I don't know what accent this is, but I'm sticking with it because I started with it now. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fly 15 hours, and I'm gonna get to like the third nearest country to me. And it's like, oh yeah, money is money. Look up conversations online. I think it's I think this is an interesting thing about, like, you can give someone money but also give them a chore at the same time, and oftentimes it's like not worth doing. You were saying earlier about someone in your family stealing from you. You were talking about wills at the same, if that helps you remember. We love your family drama stories. I try not to like every now and then someone in my family watches something from me. I remember, okay, this is the weirdest family drama story. On the third channel, I uploaded a video talking about a suicide attempt. And for whatever reason, my brother just sent me a video being like, hey, I watched that video. He said nothing else. I was like, okay, that's... so you're just making me uncomfortable? Or... like, to this day, I still have no idea why or what you like... Anyway, long story short, it's a weird thing. So I'm always worried, like... Because, you know, a couple of my relatives are always like I have one really supportive family member who's like, yeah, I really love this video you uploaded there. You did a really good job of explaining this, that. And it's like, oh, that's nice. Thank you, uncle. But just in case anyone is watching, obviously I'm talking about my other family, not you family. But yeah, I've had multiple family members. The one that like broke me is like it's like a foundational trust memory for me. Is I used to like when I was a teenager, I felt so bad asking money. Like the moment I don't know what age it is that you realize how well off your parents are, but I didn't realize that we were poor until like quite late into my teenage years. Like people would make fun of you for it, but it's like, but we're not, you know. We have TV and food. You know, that's poor people don't have those things. But I don't know, the moment I learned that, like, oh yeah, my mother had no money. Like, not like, oh yeah, it's like, she has, like, only a little bit. It's like, she's in varying amounts of negative the whole time. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And so I tried to make my own money online, and I did. And, I feel bad. See, again, this is, like, too close and personal a story to tell, right? Like, but it's like, so I earned some money on my own on the internet. I used to have to just buy things on the internet because I couldn't withdraw it to real life. Then I found a way I could withdraw it because I was under 18. You can't withdraw money to the real world. At least you couldn't at the time. I'm sure you can now. And it just involved like my mother getting a card in her name, and then I could have that card, and that would allow me to spend the internet money in the real world. And so I worked super hard. I got my first ever payment on this card. I think it was like £165. It was huge. Like again, I was like, you could buy like so many pizzas with that. That was like the one thing I wanted money for, was to be able to buy pizza when I wanted it. Also, Amanda, thank you for the £7.28. Really appreciate the tip. I didn't realize my family was poor till I was 8, says Red Hood. Yeah, it's great. I mean, like, I think it's like a cool thing. Like, I think thinking of yourself as poor too young an age is probably bad for your development. Like, it's a thing. A lot of people don't realize they're rich till way later either. Like, oh, we have way more money than people. A lot of people still, honestly, like, finding out you're poor sucks. I feel like finding out you're rich must suck more, because it's like, oh, we have all this money and it just doesn't feel like anything. You have this conception in your head of what a rich person is, and then if you realize you're not that, it's like, oh, it just means we go to the slightly nicer grocery store, and, you know, we have a dishwasher instead of a, instead of a sink or whatever the house. What, you know, I have my own bathroom in this house, but that's normal. Everyone needs their own bathroom or whatever dumb things it is that makes you well off. It's hard when your kid's invited to do XYZ and can't because of money. Oh yeah, that's like making me that's like breaking my heart right now. Like the number of things I just like didn't do because it's. Well, anyway, we're not talking about theme pool right here. It's fine. You know, I'm in literally a much better place right now. I genuinely am better off because I grew up with less money. Because now, I'm not just doing okay. I'm doing like incredible by my own standards. Like I'm very happy with the place I'm at in life. And I am very, very, very happy that I got here. But yes, I got like this £100 in the card, and I hadn't spent it yet. Like by coincidence, the next day it was like I was at home, by myself, doing something or other, and then the cat peed on my parents' bed, and my mother's very what's the word? Germophobic. I don't know, like weird about things, and so it's like, okay, I'm just throwing away this bed. Like I can't live. Like it was a mattress, like it was exposed because she was cleaning the bedsheet or whatever. She's like, this is your fault. You're paying for this, and so she took my money to pay for her new thing, and like that was like that was like a formative experience of like, oh yeah, like anyone can betray you. That we always tell the stories of like, ooh, it's a big thing. It's like, oh yeah, just like someone has power over you. They can use that power basically how they want. And that can include something or other like that. And yeah, I don't know, it was like a formative experience of like, ooh, that sucks, huh? That sucks real bad. You're living the American dream in England. I describe that as close enough to correct. I like it this way for sure. But yeah, it makes you appreciate where you come from, Sizzle explains. I genuinely feel like I appreciate money a lot more than the average person. And I feel like that is beneficial. Like, it is incredible to think, like, it's incredible what money can do. It is, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just money. And it's like, shut up. No. That's like, the money does the things. We're not arguing about the physical possession of a piece of paper. We're arguing about the lifestyle and the and yeah, I love to spend money. It took me a while to be able to like be comfortable spending money, because you know every time you spend money you have less of it. I know it's fascinating. It's crazy how people's lives can be and they can have the potential to get better. I can say I agree more. It's when you couldn't realize to. It's when you realize they couldn't afford it to get it any other way that stings and you feel guilty for feeling annoyed. Yeah, it's, yeah, right, that, like, looking back on that story, that's what makes it really painful. Is like, yeah, like, what was the alternative? It wasn't that my, you know, like, my family member was trying to do some terrible thing to me. It was that they were stuck in a situation and had no money, and you know, the only money was mine. And so they had, like, again, like, there was they engineered, again, like, it was just one person. But, like, we'll say they because it's more polite. Like, the solution is, like, engineered to fit the needs of, like, oh, God, yeah. We desperately need this. And, well, it's, like, you know, his fault and he has money so he can pay. This is actually, like, going back to that will thing. This is why, like, so many families get split apart by that, too. Of like, yeah, well, I mean, like, of course, you know, like, he had a ton of money, so it... Like, okay, I have a friend who is about to come into a ton of money. Like, that... I have a friend who's about to make 5 digits from a lawsuit. Maybe 4 digits. But they're about to make a lot of money from a lawsuit. And, it's funny because, like, I'm... okay, you know, this genuinely, like, breaks my brain and my heart and like everything about me. She only told one family member. It was actually her mother too, funnily enough. And so she told one family member like, yeah, I could make between this amount and this amount. And she's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then like just continuously that family member's been hinting about things that, you know, she'd like around the house. Like, oh yeah, you know, this washing machine sucks, would be nice to get a new one. Or whatever else, dumb stuff like that. I always assumed you were family agnostic. Too deep. I feel like there's more benefit in than out with family. But I feel like that is a controversial one. Inheritance tax solves family arguments. The cash goes to public services where you'll benefit. Inheritance tax is one of those, like, wonderful solutions that ignores human nature, both in terms of the fact that one of the goals of, you know, humanity is to survive and thrive or whatever. You can see this is why you can't trust anyone ever at any point for any reason. If you look at the UK from orbit, you can say you're looking at the UK. But if you look while standing in the UK, would you say the same thing? Am I looking at the UK? I am looking at the UK right now, Menalog. You know what? You should have picked someone less... Oh wait, I have a ton of coal. Well, not a ton, but like, more coal. And he's turned into torches before we go any further. Also, my parents tried to make me pay things we didn't have before as well and compete with each other. Divorced, 2 times holidays though. Father paid to stay poor, moved to Texas. Yeah, I feel like that's a... I always hear about people who like made out pretty well on divorces. I was like, that's cool. You know what? So for a little bit, I had like a stepfather. Wasn't actually, oh, like a, yeah, I guess a stepfather who was like trying to impress me. That was cool. He got me a video game for a birthday once, and I was like, no way. This is more than I expect. And that was the last time I think I saw or heard from him. It was my 13th birthday. I got Ford Racing. I don't know why they made a Ford Racing game, but I love that game. Completed it pretty early on. Then I played it again, I never will. I should play Ford Racing. Relive some old memories, huh? But yeah, I think it's, I think these sorts of stories actually do just get more heartbreaking the more you dive into them. Because it's like, actually, yeah. Like, and also I think, what happens when you reach 350 subs? Oh, I will tell you very shortly what happens when we reach 350 subs. It's a milestone. Burnout Revenge and Burnout Paradise, my childhood. Oh, I love Burnout 3 and Burnout Revenge. I like Burnout Revenge a little bit less, actually. I guess Burnout 3 had the... You crash into things, and then it's very fun. Money breaks people's hearts. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is my point here. So, sorry, I got very off topic. So I've got a friend about to come into a ton of money. Just, like, people have this, like, collective shared feeling that they own the money. Just like suggested by Mr. Inheritance Tax Guy. Being poor forces you to keep your expectations tiny. Yeah, I genuinely do believe, Pookie, that that's true. If your expectations are sky high all the time, you can only be disappointed. And there is a certain class of person that encourages you to keep your expectations sky high all the time. And so that's why I genuinely believe keeping your expectations tiny makes you not whiny. And that... But this is that thing of, like, people like to justify bad things happening to them. Because if there's no good reason for the bad thing to have happened to you, then a bad thing just happened to you for no reason. I don't know, like, I don't know, even like me in the house thing, right? Like, in retrospect, I would have just preferred to, like, have forced the person to clear it and, like, because I had so many other issues I had to deal with. But instead, I was just like, oh, yeah, they're leaving stuff. That's fine. Like, I'm just trying to get it through, done, quick, as fast as possible. Justifying things, like, after the fact. It's called our money. But yeah, there's this interesting thing of, like, you know, collective, that is ours. Like, okay, you know, here's a funny thing. If you look at people who are mad at, I would say billionaires, but it's usually focused on Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, right? If you look at people who hate those people the most, and there is a lot of them on the internet these days, it is a common opinion. You know, their beliefs can't be as simple as they have a ton of money that would be better if they didn't have the ton of money. Like, people will sometimes say that, but it's not a popular belief that, like, just because someone else has something doesn't mean you're entitled to it. So it always has to go a step further into, well, actually, they get that money by taking it from us. So if we took the money, it would just be taking it back. It's like this, like, vicious, like, you know, we deserve other people's stuff kind of thing. And it sounds like I'm being like, oh yeah, they're so... But it's not like a conscious trying to do it that way thing, right? Like, my family member wasn't consciously trying to say that I deserve less. It was just that that was the way to get the thing done. When your family member comes into a ton of money for a lawsuit for something that you didn't expect they would get money for, it's like, so that's just free money coming out of nowhere. Like, you know, if you win the lottery, is that your money or is that your family's money? And it's obviously yours. But like, shouldn't you give a little bit to family? Are your parent, you know, like, okay, here's where it gets like, here's where the family can get spicy. Your parents pay like $250,000, I think is the average right now, to raise a child. And then if you make 100 million on the lottery, shouldn't you at least pay them back, you know? Isn't that like a right, basically? Hard empathize with a rich person who's otherwise completely disconnected from the life you live. I would argue though, like, I genuinely believe the disconnect between like, even like middle class and poor is like substantial. Like, oh, you don't go on skiing holidays every year? Oh, it must be rough. Only doing that every other year. You don't ever go on skiing holidays? Ooh, hoo, hoo. Or like whatever else the situation may be. My parents are spending $1 million on some people for no reason. How are your parents spending $1 million on a child? Okay, whatever. I owe my parents nothing and my children everything, says Bearded Wanderer. See, that's the correct attitude on this one. Like, kind of going back to that point of like, society grows great when Minecraft YouTubers upload content that they never expect to see. Better Oxfordshire accent. Thank you very much. I try my best. No, yeah, there is a disconnect there. And a lot of people like, I find one of the weird things about life is like, people not quite getting the disconnect fully. And being like, no, it's the same life. Like, there's me. Like, okay, you know what? Okay. Let's go spicy drama. This is the end of the 2-hour-long live stream, so no one's gonna see this. This is I don't like to talk about current ongoing events because it's just bait to get like tricked into saying something you don't. But there's a very, very prominent left-wing YouTuber. Sorry, he's a Twitch streamer, I think. And so. He's like, not just like left, he's like, you know, socialist, redistributionist, left, you know? But sure, cool, that's, those are allowed beliefs. No one can tell you not to have those. And so it's interesting because this guy just bought a $3 million house. Like, he's got beliefs of like the, you know, like, of course, and so I found another one even more fascinating, is there's this person who's like, yeah, there should be, you know, like, basically like, you know, like, of course there should be like 90% plus. There's this woman, I forget her name, but she's got a funny name. She's very quirky, maybe that tells you. And she's done the same thing. She's bought a $2 million apartment, despite being very famous for like, you know, saying the same things. And it's like, there's a funny thing of like, is that hypocritical? Because when people ask them, they're like, oh yeah, well, I'm not the rich. I'm like comfortable, I'm doing well, but I'm not the rich. And it's like, people are very unfamiliar with like where they stand on the social stratosphere. And I've always wondered why that is. Like, is it deliberate on a way? Like, is it someone found her in childhood cheers? Says yes. All someone needs to find now is the all that someone needs to find right now is what happens when we hit 350 members. How do you feel really? Are you happy with what you're doing, or do you feel forced to do it? I feel pretty happy with what I'm doing. Thank you for asking, HMod 659. I need to start these live streams earlier in the day. That's my one disappointment in today. You know, I think I started a little bit late here. Could have done a better job on that. If you can afford a $2.7 million hike, you are the rich. See, but then those people would argue like, well, just because I've got a $2 million apartment, I'm not rich though. Like, there is, you know, like $200 billion is so much more than 2 million. And on like the, you know, on the number scale, that's correct. But on the, you know, like that takes you from median being like the 0.1% to the, you know, the 0.0001% or something. And so almost everyone has this, has a right to purchase, that's the thing, right? But like, is it hypocritical to share, like, to want the world to be a way that your actions don't support? Like, man, I think that there should be... Because, you know, would the opposite be hypocritical? Would it be hypocritical to... Also, Aaron, hey Toycat, I know where your enchanted shears are. Timestamp 16:14:40 in the video. Deep Dark or Warden. Oh, I can finally find the enchanted shears. Okay. I'm going to watch that video specifically to find them. Why are these billionaires going to space? What do they know? More reasons to support minimalism. But, how's the underwater so long? Oh, I've got a, whatever that thing is called. This. You know this. Everyone knows this. Okay, so let's place some of these blocks. Basic cost of housing, it's reasonable to get a self-reliable home for your family. See, but there's a gap in between, because even the median price of a home in wealthy $3 million house place is $1.2 million. Do you need more than the average? Because if you need more than the average, that's a pretty good argument against redistributionism, right? Like, if you're anywhere close to a full redistributionist, you'd wanna make sure that no one could have significantly above the average, because you know anyone who has above the average means someone inherently has to have below the average, which is cruel and unfair. I think there's some interesting things of like I think there's so many examples of this where like everyone has this morality sense where the line for what is right and wrong is you take what you're doing and you find something worse. You're like those are the real bad people though. Like you find there are invisible lines for all these things. You know, what's the line for what's acceptable on an internet live stream? Also, your streams will help me get through a rough patch in my life. So here's a tax for the month. Also, thanks for providing fun, chill content for us. No, thank you, Mortimer Kane, for the tip. I do appreciate it. Again, time's been weird on YouTube recently. I've been in a rough patch professionally, so your tip really does help. What is average, though? I mean, what is anything, really? If you can't afford to live in London, you live in Shropshire or something. Where do London cashiers live then? See, there is the, that's one of the upper stratosphere arguments. Like I never hear it from not well-off people. I only hear it from people who are doing incredibly well. And it's like, well, they live like 50 to 100 miles outside of London, and they commute in, and it takes an hour and a half a day. Because if you're, and like I don't know why that's like a hard thing to dive into. My live stream is a custom home that I designed, which is expensive and definitely a luxury. One way to save money doing that, become an architect. I would love a custom house too. Like, I don't know, honestly though, looking at houses made me realize that like, oh, like actually even doing this house that I'm doing right now, in the way that I'm doing it, I'm like, there's no way I could ever bring myself to design a house and like not feel, like if you design a house and it sucks, that's like all on you. If you buy a house and it sucks, you sell it, you move on. What are your thoughts on Afghanistan, troll emoji? I think that they are a country. Glad to help you. They go that far for minimum wage. Yeah, we subsidize transport. See there's the interesting argument. Like whenever you in the same way that minimum wage workers are usually, it's called income tax credits or something. Like we as a society, we conclude that people who are the worst off should get a little bit of boost to their incomes from the government. But in reality, what this does, because if you earn £7.80 or something, you effectively are making £8.80 now because that's being topped up. It's not actually that, because you're then paying some national insurance, and it gets real messy with the way these income tax credits work. So don't try and think about it too hard. But what you're actually just doing is saying, hey, the Walmarts of the world, the Asdas of the world, whoever else, McDonald's of the world, hey, if you would like to have an employee, you can pay them $7.80 and they'll effectively make $8.80. And so you're like subsidizing the business. In the same way, what we're effectively doing by subsidizing transport, which is a policy I support. I think transport is like the biggest, is the biggest single way to change someone's odds of success. But what you're effectively saying is like, yeah, we would like to make it so that instead of, we would like to make it so that not transport is the luxury. We are subsidizing you to live outside London on less of a wage by paying for it with everyone else. £9.60 for over 25 before tax. Yeah, I'm using the 21 to 25 wage, I think it is. It's insane. The UK has a really high minimum wage these days. I'm always whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I feel like transport in all forms, like usually public transport, right? Because that's the common mode, but like that's like the biggest single point of access to opportunity. So we say, yeah, we'll subsidize that. But what we're effectively doing by doing that is we're saying, yeah, you can now live further out than you can before, which means that you let the people who, you know, can afford to live further in have less opportunity. Whatever, it's an interesting thing. Like we change the world all the time. Oh wow, there's a mine shaft down here. We should drain this out, huh? How much money do you make a year? Says Toycat is yes. About 8 million a year, I'd say. Yeah, about 8 million. That's definitely facts I'm saying right here. We all know Toycat is a secret billionaire. I think if I was a billionaire, I would still be doing the thing I'm doing right now. That's the funny thing. I've considered it for a while. I think I definitely spend like a few years just going wild. Like it probably wouldn't be good for my health to become a billionaire. And I probably would have a less consistent schedule. But I enjoy the third channel a lot, for instance. You know, like even though I don't see it as a business venture. 8 million is a lot annually. You should invest in cats. Cats are where all the good money is these days, I hear. Cats is where all the good money is. Exclusively £5 burrito, billionaire diet. Yeah, I would, every single day I'd be doing it. Why hasn't he gone to space? See, that's how you can tell I'm not a billionaire. I agree with Pookie. I'm giving it away for myself. First time catching a live stream of yours after watching a video forever, and I'm so enjoying it. Hey, thank you, Poppy. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Every like, I don't know, 10 minutes, someone comes on the stream being like, this isn't what I want, this is boring, I'm leaving. I don't know why people just choose to comment that, but it's like, it's a thing. So it's nice to read comments like yours. Thank you for enjoying the live stream. And indeed, the Mega Project, which, you know what, now's a good time as any to say thank you for watching. Is your Social Blade accurate? I'll look at it right now and I'll tell you. socialblade.com/youtube/user/ibxtoycat. I make somewhere between 8,000 and 135,000 a year. That's an interesting... Is that... Do I make a... you know, I don't think that's correct. Who knows for sure, though. I'd have to... Actually, you know, I'm doing the negotiating on a contract on my network for another year right now. And so as part of that, I have to, like, work out what I earned myself, so I know what I earned them. And I may realize, like, oh, yeah, I made more than you know, it's an interesting thing. Like, on YouTube, I'm, like, so focused on, like, this month, next month, and the month before, that it's like, whoa, turns out it's, you know, I don't know what point I'm trying to think right here. I'm just trying to say, I like where I am right now. I'm very lucky I get to have any amount of comfort. Comfort is something that doesn't come naturally in the world. It's something that appears in interesting circumstances, and I'm glad that mine are interesting enough to warrant it. Okay, this is a weird way to mine gravel, but I'm going to do it. Okay, no, I'm not. You know, I tried my best. I just didn't succeed. Anyway, Toycat, I'm a tax accountant, so based on what you said about your house purchase, I know how much you earn, but geez, you earn it.
Toycat combating climate change and rising sea levels by just removing a part of the ocean. It's genius.
Thank you so much. You know, I do everything I can to make it all work. You've had about 10 of me, don't blow it in one place. You know what, Bearded Wanderer? I am gonna blow it in one place. I saw the fish and chip shop I was at today, very gentrified area. They had lobster rolls for £9.50. I've never seen lobster rolls for £9.50 everywhere. Like, if it was £19.50, I'd be like, okay, tiny bit expensive. But, yeah, long story short, I'm going to spend your tenner. Oh, I guess that's technically not spending your tenner in one place. There's going to be 50p spare. Oh, actually, you probably tip via super chat, so probably probably lost 30% on that compared to being direct. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, smash the buttons that lead to good things happening. I've got a lot of preparing for the next stream to do, because I have to now not only grab some more gravel because I have hit the bare bottom here, but also I need to get some more torches. I am straight out of torches, and so yeah, it's gonna be fun. I hope you all enjoyed today's live stream. Thank you for helping us hit 330 members, because when 350 happens, something good is. I think it's the breathalyzer stream. I could be wrong. We're gonna have to fact check that. But thank you for watching the video. Have a good night. I'm gonna go look at some foxes. I'll tweet a picture if I find one. And I'll see you next time. Bye. I lied to you about this video ending. This video is never gonna end. Oh, no, I've got something to promote. There's a video coming out just now. There's a video on the internet, like one with, it's a world record was set this last week. I hinted at it in Seed Sunday. Oh, was it Seed Sunday? I think it was Seed Sunday. It was the most incredible thing. And if you want to watch my breakdown of a new world record for Minecraft Pocket Edition, it's going to be out the moment the stream is... Actually, it's going to be out like 10 minutes after. But go watch that, please, all the way through. If you watch it all the way through, helps with watch times and retention. But yeah, watch my new video all the way through if you can. I'd appreciate it a lot. Have a nice day. See you all next. If you can't tip or do any of those things, that's the best way you can help out the channel. And I'd really appreciate it. But you know what else I'd appreciate? You not dying in a house.